You know that feeling when you feel like you're running faster than you ever have before, but you're not actually getting anywhere? Well, in software development, that's not just a feeling anymore. It's become a full-blown crisis because the old ways we measured success, they're completely falling apart. Just imagine this for a second. You've got an engineering team that is absolutely on fire. Tickets are being closed out at double the normal rate. The board is just this beautiful cascade of green done statuses. And the code commits? Oh, they are through the roof. We're talking up 500%. By every single traditional metric, this looks like a massive success. It feels like pure, unfiltered speed. The team feels amazing, management is looking at these numbers, and it seems like the whole company is just accelerating into the future. But then, you pull up the business dashboard. User adoption? It's flat. Customer retention? Hasn't moved. Revenue? A big fat 0% growth. All of that motion, all of that hard work, it added up to absolutely nothing. And this right here, this jarring disconnect, it points to a really disruptive truth that's shaking up the entire industry. It's not just that we've been measuring the wrong things. The very act of measuring activity has itself become the problem. Look, this isn't some abstract theory. This is a fundamental shift in how we create value. So if you're a developer, a product manager, or a founder, you really need to get what's happening. Go ahead and share this explainer so your team is ready for this change. And of course, make sure you're subscribed to Lalit Official. Okay, so to really understand where we're headed, we've got to unpack the trap that we've all been stuck in for decades, this deep-seated illusion of productivity. It all boils down to a really simple but powerful difference: outputs versus outcomes. So outputs are the stuff we make. You know, the features, the code, the tickets we close. They're super easy to count. But outcomes? That's the value we create. That's the change in a person's behavior that actually helps the business. And what's so interesting here is how this slide really contrasts the feature factory with a team that's focused on real-world impact. See, for an output-focused team, the job is done the second that code is deployed. But for an outcome-focused team, done only happens when they can actually see the user doing the new thing they wanted them to do. Now, right as the industry was kind of starting to wake up to this problem of chasing outputs, AI just burst onto the scene and basically poured gasoline on the entire fire. I mean, with AI coding tools, creating outputs has become almost instantaneous. A developer can now pump out a massive pull request in the time it takes to make a cup of coffee. This has completely shattered any link that was left between the effort we put in and the value we get out. But all this speed, it creates a huge new bottleneck. As you can see right here on this chart, while AI makes code generation explode, the burden on human reviewers just skyrockets. We're talking over 90%, according to research. And the real, meaningful progress? It just grinds to a halt. And all of this leads to a really dangerous condition that you could call outcome blindness. We get so wrapped up in the activity of building, so mesmerized by the sheer speed of creation, that we totally forget to check if anyone actually wants or uses the thing we're making. If this is starting to sound a little too familiar, go ahead and hit that like button. And hey, if you believe we need to switch from just measuring effort to actually engineering outcomes, drop a comment with a vibe coding below to show you're on board with this new way of thinking. Okay, so what's the solution here? If just building more features isn't the goal, then what is? Well, we need a whole new model for development, one that doesn't start with a task, but with a user's intent. This diagram here perfectly illustrates this new idea, the intent-to-outcome pipeline. Just notice how it starts on the left, not with a feature request, but with user intent. That goal then flows through this automated system, an agentic factory, and what comes out the other side is a verified outcome. It's basically an engine built to turn a goal into a real result. So inside this agentic factory, the AI is running in a constant loop. First is perception, where it takes in the goal. Second is reasoning and planning, where it breaks that goal down. Third is action, where it actually carries out the plan. And fourth, and this is the most important step, verification, where it checks to make sure the outcome was really achieved. It's behaving less like a coder and more like a digital operator. And that last step, verification, that is the most critical piece of this entire model. I mean, without it, we're right back where we started, just building things faster and even more blindly than before. So this brings up the million-dollar question. How do we avoid false positives? how do we make sure the system actually solved the user's problem and didn't just think it did? Well, one technique that's becoming an industry standard is called LLM as a judge. And it's pretty much what it sounds like. We use one powerful AI model as a kind of scalable quality inspector, and its only job is to evaluate the work of another AI against a really clear set of success criteria. This approach really gives us the best of both worlds. We can use strict rule-based checks for all the black and white stuff, like making sure a data format is correct. But for all those gray areas, like was a response genuinely helpful or did it have the right tone, we can rely on the much more sophisticated judgment of an LLM. So, if AI is handling the perception, the planning, the action, and even some of the verification, what's left for us humans to do? Well, it turns out our role becomes more strategic and honestly more valuable than ever before. This right here is the single most important takeaway from all of this. I want you to let that sink in for a second. Our job is no longer about writing lines of code. Code is just a temporary tool. Our real job is to engineer valuable outcomes. This is your new mission. Your value isn't in implementation anymore. It's in direction. You're the one who defines what success even looks like. You're the one who handles the ambiguous, messy edge cases that the AI can't figure out. You provide that critical human judgment. And at the end of the day, you own the accountability for making sure the whole system is aligned with what people actually need. So to sum it all up, the future is pretty clear. The developers who adapt to this are going to thrive by focusing on high-level system design and outcome validation. But those who keep measuring their own worth by the amount of code they write, they're going to get left behind by the very tools that were supposed to help them. And that's really the final thought I want to leave you with. In this new era, the companies that win aren't going to be the ones with the fastest coders. They're going to be the ones who truly master the art of building systems that can reliably turn a human intent into a verified, valuable outcome. If this explainer changed how you think about productivity, do me a favor and share it with your network, give it a like, and make sure you're subscribed to Lalit Official for more deep dives into the future of tech. Thanks so much for watching.